Meow, my friends. It seems our dear President Trump has decided to play peacemaker extraordinaire with Putin. And let me tell you, he's not pulling any punches. It's quite the plot twist, isn't it? The man who once called Putin a genius is now threatening him with economic doom. Talk about a feline change of heart. In a move that's got everyone from Washington to Moscow raising their eyebrows, Trump has taken to social media to deliver an ultimatum to his old pal Putin. And I quote, "I'm going to do Russia, whose economy is failing, and President Putin a very big favour. Settle now and stop this ridiculous war. It's only going to get worse." Ooh, caps lock and everything. He means business, folks. But wait, there's more. Trump's not just asking nicely. He's threatening to slap high levels of taxes, tariffs and sanctions on Russia if Putin doesn't play ball. Trump's threatening to slap tariffs on Russian caviar and vodka. But with US imports from Russia already down to a measly $2.8 billion, it's like threatening to take away a billionaire's pocket change. Because nothing says stop the war like making it slightly more expensive for oligarchs to buy their third yacht. Now, let's put this in perspective, shall we? The US and Russia aren't exactly best buddies in the Trade Department these days. Last year, we imported a whopping $2.8 billion worth of goods from Russia. That might sound like a lot, but it's pocket change compared to the $14.4 billion we imported in 2022. So Trump's economic threats are about as effective as threatening to take away a billionaire's pocket change. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, President Zelensky is caught between relief and disbelief. I can almost hear him muttering, "Is this the same Trump who couldn't find Ukraine on a map?" But hope springs eternal, and Zelensky's optimism is palpable. He might be thinking, "While I hold hope that President Trump can broker a deal, I remain skeptical. History teaches us that the strongest words must be backed by unwavering commitment to our security." Wise words, Mr. President. Now, let's talk numbers, because nothing says fun like casualty statistics. Since this ridiculous war began, we're looking at roughly 80,000 Ukrainian soldiers and 115,000 Russian soldiers killed. And that's not counting the wounded, which for Russia could be up to 500,000. It's like the world's deadliest game of Risk, except nobody's winning. But here's where it gets interesting, my friends. Trump's approach is a complete 180 from Biden's strategy. While Biden was playing defense with a steady stream of javelins and jelly beans for Ukraine, Trump's swooping in like he's about to slam dunk Putin into a peace deal. It's bold, it's brash, it's Trump. And let's not forget the economic mess Russia's in, with inflation hitting 20% for many households and interest rates at a jaw-dropping 21%. Putin's economy is looking about as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. Trump's timing couldn't be better, or worse, depending on which side of the Kremlin walls you're on. Now, I know what you're thinking. "Ron, this all sounds familiar." And you're right. It's like deja vu all over again. Remember Trump's first impeachment? That little phone call with Zelensky. Good times. But this time, instead of asking for favours, Trump's dishing them out. How the tables have turned. Speaking of turns, let's talk about the tech turning this war on its head. In a conflict where commercial drones are the new iPhones, Trump's threatening to put Putin on a Nokia 3310. These flying gadgets are doing everything from reconnaissance to artillery targeting. It's like if your delivery drone decided to moonlight as a military strategist. Meanwhile, in Brussels, NATO officials are scratching their heads, wondering if they should dust off their Art of the Deal copies or start brushing up on their Russian. Who knows? Maybe Trump's tweets will succeed where years of diplomacy have failed. After all, nothing says world peace like a caps lock tirade at 3 a.m. It's like watching a bull in a china shop suddenly decide to become a chess player. Unexpected, potentially disastrous, but undeniably entertaining. If this works, we might see Trump and Putin sharing a Nobel Peace Prize. And wouldn't that be a sight for sore eyes? Or maybe just sore eyes. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, civilians are wondering if they should be more worried about Russian missiles or the whiplash from US foreign policy changes. It's enough to make your head spin faster than a cat chasing its tail. But let's not forget the bigger picture here, my friends. We're witnessing a geopolitical tango that's more twisted than a pretzel in a tornado. On one side, we've got Putin, the shirtless wonder, trying to keep his grip on power tighter than his abs. On the other, we've got Trump, the Twitter titan, wielding his smartphone like Thor's hammer. And caught in the middle, poor Zelensky, probably wishing he'd stuck to comedy instead of diving into this political circus. Now, some might say Trump's approach is about as subtle as a sledgehammer in a Ming vase factory. But hey, who needs subtlety when you've got all caps and exclamation points, right? It's diplomacy for the digital age, folks. Who needs ambassadors when you've got emojis? And let's not overlook the economic angle here. Trump's threatening Russia with more sanctions, because clearly what the world needs right now is for Russia's economy to be more unstable than a Jenga tower in an earthquake. I mean, why stop at 20% inflation when you could aim for 30? Go big or go home, right? But here's the kicker, my friends. In a world where presidents tweet ultimatums and drones decide battles, who knows what tomorrow might bring? Maybe we'll see Putin and Zelensky settling their differences over a game of Wordle. Stranger things have happened. And remember, if you think you can negotiate better than Trump, hit that subscribe button. Who knows, you might be the next US Secretary of State. Stay tuned, my friends, because this geopolitical circus is far from over. I'm Ron DeParmesan, and this has been another Newscat special report.